Hare Krishna. So, a warm welcome to all the devotees for our continued discussion on the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Today we will be discussing the 14th chapter, which is entitled The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. So, this is the chapter that we are going to discuss today. And last time, if you recall, we were discussing about that Sutta Goswami now describes, we said, the events leading to the coronation of Parikshit Maharaj, where Krishna's associates start leaving this material world one by one. And last time we were talking about how Dhritarashtra quits home. What are the events leading to Dhritarashtra quitting home? Vidura comes, visits him, speaks very harsh words, but those harsh words convince Dhritarashtra that he should not stay in this place anymore and he should leave. And Vidura's purpose is achieved. He along with without telling anybody, without telling the Pandavas, Dhritarashtra along with Gandhari and even Kunti and Vidura, they leave for the north, and then they give up their bodies over there, and Kunti also gives up her body. So this is where we left off last time. And then Narad Muni visits Yudhishthir, Yudhishthir and Sanjaya, who are feeling very dejected that, oh, maybe something, we did not treat them properly, maybe we did not, maybe it was our selfish desires, maybe we hurt them. So Yudhishthir is feeling very guilty and dejected after Dhritarashtra has left. And then Narad Muni comes and assures them that no, it is not your fault that they left, they had to go, they went. He then tells that, don't try to go and search for them now, because Dhritarashtra has left his body, Gandhari has also left her body, and Kunti has also left her body, and also even Vidura now, after seeing that his elder brother and sister-in-law and Kunti have all left, with a heavy heart, but at the same time happy that at least his brother finally saw sense and gave up this body in an exemplary way. He leaves for a pilgrimage. So he says, you'll not even be able to find him. Don't even go searching for Vidura. It isn't that now you just wait for Krishna's plan to unfold. That's it, right? And he leaves. So that is where we pick up from, in today's discussion. So this particular, portion where Yudhishthir, he starts seeing what happens is, as the 36th year of Yudhishthir's reign was approaching, 36 years after Yudhishthir became the king, Arjuna, he felt the desire. They have been ruling over the kingdom for several years now, and Arjuna feels the desire that I want to go and meet Krishna. I want to go to Dwarka. So now where are they? They are in Kurukshetra. Sorry, they are in Hastinapur, which is near Delhi. And he says, I want to go and meet Krishna, who is in Dwarka. I want to meet all the Yadus. So why Arjuna feels this? Because he knew that Krishna's departure from this material world was close at hand. The Yadus are going to depart. Now, how did he know this? So there is a story behind this. The Mahabharata describes that actually after the end of the war, when everyone was, everything was done, and Duryodhana was also smashed, and he was lying there on the battlefield, and everything is over. Okay. So Yudhishthir was feeling that, now someone will have to go and convey the news. Someone will have to go and convey the news to Gandhari and Dhritarashtra that all their sons have been killed, except one, except Yuyutsu. All their sons have been killed. So when he was thinking, contemplating this, he was feeling little fearful. He felt that, no matter how logically we try to explain this to Gandhari, it is too painful for her to accept and understand that all her sons have been slaughtered by Bhima, by Pandavas. So it was too painful for her. So he was feeling that, she still has her ascetic power. With what power she tried to protect Duryodhana's body, with that same power she can destroy us. So he requests Krishna. He says, Krishna, you please, can you go and meet Gandhari and Dhritarashtra and tell them that, try to unko santvana do, basically give them good counsel so that they are able to deal. So Krishna goes. Krishna goes ahead. He goes ahead and he explains to Dhritarashtra and Gandhari that, what has happened simply because I tried, Vidura tried, so many of us tried to warn you that this is going to happen. Sanjaya tried to warn you, but you didn't listen. Even at the birth of Duryodhan, you had been warned that he will be the cause of destruction of the entire family. You didn't listen. So what has happened because of the choices that you made. So please don't hold Yudhishthir and the other and his brothers responsible for this destruction. Please forgive them. Please accept them with a loving heart. So Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they are able to somehow accept the words that Krishna gives, and they say, okay, let them come. So then Krishna sends a message, and Yudhishthir and the brothers come. So when they meet, it is described that still, Yudhishthir was fearful because he knew that he puts his, he does Sashtang Dandavat to Gandhari. It's described in Mahabharata. It is full Dandavat to Gandhari, and he explains to her that, Mother, I am your offender. If you want, you can curse me to die. So he's such a humble soul. Yudhishthir is such a humble soul. You can imagine that he, despite Krishna explaining to him, despite Bhishma explaining to him, still somewhere in his heart, he's so humble, he's so sweet that when he comes in front of Gandhari, though he has been told by Krishna that, don't worry, I have managed the situation, they're okay. But still he comes and out of remorse, he places himself before her and he tells her that, I am your offender, you can curse me to die. So her heart melts. She says, no, it's okay, whatever. But as she contemplates what has happened, she forgives him, but as she contemplates what is happening, what has happened, she starts remembering that all this happened, and then she again starts getting angry. See, she's a mother. At the end of the day, you have to understand, Gandhari is a mother. Whatever, however ugly a child may be, mother always sees him as if he's the full moon, right? That's how much parents illogically love their children. Even if the children are not very good in nature, in character, still the parents somehow have a forgiving heart. They have a loving heart. So they are not able to see the faults of their sons, or even if they see, they kind of, nahi yaar, अच्छा है, सीख जाएगा, he'll learn, he'll improve. They are always forever very optimistic about the future of their children. So Gandhari, when she again remembers, she again starts getting angry, and she lifts her veil slightly and she looks at, Yudhishthir's lotus feet. Yudhishthir is a pure devotee. She looks at his feet, and when she looks at his feet, the tips of his toes get singed, they get burnt because of her yogic drishti. The tip of his toes become, brown in color. They get burnt. But that's it. Immediately she again pulls the thing over her eyes and she realizes, I'm doing something wrong. And then Arjuna, when he sees this, he goes and hides behind Krishna, because he says, Bapre, abhi pata nahi what's going to come next. They are a little concerned. So then Krishna, he says, don't worry, it's all right. And then she meets one by one all the Pandavas, embraces them, and they, beg forgiveness from her. Draupadi comes. And then when Krishna comes again in front of her, again she starts contemplating. So she feels, that the Pandavas and the Kauravas, both, have been rooted out. Abhi koi bacha hi nahi hai. Nobody is remaining. He said, Krishna, all this happened in front of your eyes. You could have prevented this slaughter. She says, oh Madhava, You deliberately allowed this universal destruction. You allowed it. She knows that he is Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, you want, I know you came, I know you came, you tried to, be a peace bearer. You tried to be a messenger of peace. But yeah, my sons didn't agree. But you are God. You could have done something. What she doesn't understand, is that Krishna, he is the supreme personality of God. If he desires, he can do anything. But he does not interfere with the independent will of any living entity. He does not. He allows them to exercise their own will, because if he came and he, arm twisted Duryodhan, he gave him a display of his opulence. When Duryodhan tried to, when he ignored all the instructions given by Krishna as Shanti Dut, he ignored all those instructions. He tried to capture Krishna. So at that time, Krishna showed him the universal form, within the palace, within the high ceilings of the palace. He saw a mini universal form. That should have been sufficient to convince anybody. Arey Baba, this person is on the enemy side. I have no chance of victory. He should have understood. But Vinash Kale Viprita Buddhi, when someone's intelligence is lost, they cannot make out what is right, what is wrong. Because they are driven by ego. Once we become driven by ego, we are not able to see anything. When we are driven by attachment, when we are driven by ego, we are not able to see right or wrong. We are not able to see. We're just driven to do the wrong thing. What Arjuna asked Krishna, Athak kena prayuktoyam papam jarati purushaha. That what is it that forces people to commit sins? And Krishna says, Kamayesha, Krodayesha, Rajoguna Samudbhava. Right? So, because of our lust, because of our anger, anger comes because of unsatisfied lust, unsatisfied desires. We have desires, unlimited desires. And when those don't get fulfilled, we become angry. We become frustrated. We start taking it out on other people. We commit sinful activities. Right? So, like this, due warnings were given. Many warnings were given to Duryodhana. He didn't listen. But she's saying, "Oh God, you should have done." So he didn't try to explain to her, right? So she's saying, because you allowed this destruction to happen, you should now feel the consequences. So she says that whatever little merit I have received, by serving my husband, I am now, cursing you, oh holder, oh, what is that? Chakrapani, or, holder of the Sudarshan Chakra. Since you callously allowed the Kurus and Pandavas to kill one another, so also you will be the destroyer of your own kinsmen. O Govinda, on the 36th year from today, you will kill your own family members, and in a fratricidal fight, and finally you will also die by foul means, and the ladies of your family will weep same way as the Kuru ladies are weeping now. So she gave this curse. Now when she gave this curse, actually Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He can very easily, it is not difficult for Krishna, right? He can very easily just counteract it. He is the controller of time. He is the controller of karma. He is the controller of prakriti. He is the controller of all living entities. What are the 5 topics in the Bhagavad Gita, right? He is a controller of all of them. So he could have very easily changed it, but he did not. He smilingly accepted it, and he said, very good, O great lady, what curse you have given will surely come to pass. He says that, in fact, the Yadus, they have, they are, now that this, all the everyone, all the kings of this earth are vanquished. The earth, the burden on the earth has been vanquished. But the Yadus, because they are multiplying and they are so powerful, therefore they will become a bane on the earth. So, but thanks to your curse, after 36 years, the only way they could have been killed is they kill each other. So by your mercy, by your curse, they will all be destroyed. And he very graciously accepts her curse. So now 36 years have passed almost, right? So therefore now Arjuna, he is concerned that one last time I want to see Krishna before, because they are afraid that he may leave this earthly planet at any time. So they were hoping, of course, that somehow they might convince Krishna to make one last visit to Hastinapur. Arjuna was hoping that I'll go there personally, I'll meet Krishna, and I will convince him to come to Hastinapur. Let all the Kurus meet with Krishna once. So he was hoping like that. And they were also somewhere hoping that maybe we can somehow convince Krishna to counter Gandhari's curse and remain on this earth. So this is the hoping against hope of devotees, right? While devotees understand that the Supreme Lord is Avidya Swarat, he's supremely independent. All living entities are independent. That's what I just spoke about. Krishna gives minute independence to every living entity to choose what he or she wants to do. We are thrown into particular circumstances according to our past karma and our own internal long-held desires. So a combination of our desires and our past karma creates our current circumstance. But in this circumstance, how do I respond is also to a very large extent influenced by the modes of material nature that I have acquired by my past actions only. If I have been sinful, envious, angry, lusty all my life, then when a particular circumstance comes before me, I will react like that only. But still, there is a choice. That minute independence is there, where everything is pointing towards you taking a particular action, but you say, "Nahi yaar, not this time. This time I will not do this. This time I will do the right thing." Right? That independence is never taken away by Krishna. It is always there. Same way, Krishna is supreme. He is the supreme Lord, so he is supremely independent. So if he decides that something has to happen, nothing can change it. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. So if Krishna has decided to leave this earth, when nobody can go against the will of Krishna, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke, then Krishna himself also, why should he listen to anybody? If he has decided to leave, he has already told Gandhari that yes, your curse will come true. So now they know this, but still they are hoping against hope. And this is the nature of devotees, right? Even when we see, like few weeks back, His Grace Pankajangri Prabhu, one of the foremost disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who was serving as a pujari in Shishi Radha Madhav Temple, ISKCON Mayapur, for over, 50 years, almost 50 years, he and Jananivas Prabhu have been serving. After 50 years, he finally left his body inflicted by COVID. So when we got to know he is affected, for almost, I think, 3-4 weeks it was going on, that devotees all over the world were praying for him. What were they praying? Srila Prabhupada has taught us what to pray also. When someone is leaving the body, when it becomes fairly clear that someone is seriously ill, what we should pray, Srila Prabhupada has taught us. He taught us that we should pray that, "Oh dear Krishna, O Supreme Lord, Supremely Independent Lord, if it is your desire, we still need this devotee in our presence for his or her guidance and the wonderful services that he or she is doing. If it is your desire, my Lord, please make this person all right." But it is still, if it is your desire, it is our desire. Our desire is well known to Krishna. But if it is your desire also, then my Lord, so we are expressing our desire to the Lord, and we need this person. We want him or her to be there. If it is your desire, then you also please somehow cure this person and keep him. So devotees are always hoping against hope. Even till the last moment, devotees were praying, chanting Narsing Arti, chanting Narsing Kavach for the improvement in health of Pankajangri Prabhu. But when the Lord decides to take back his devotee, nothing can be done. We have recently experienced, I'll talk about it in the end, our Behra Prabhu passed away. Our Mahaprabhu Prabhu, one of our, not one of our senior most devotee of our congregation, senior most. He has been in Krishna consciousness since 1978. I mean, some of us were not even born at that time, probably, or we were small children at that time. So he has been a devotee for that long, 43 odd years, 43 kind of years. We cannot even imagine. And what he has done in, ISKCON, we cannot even imagine. And this person left his body like that. In 5 minutes, he was gone. Right? Very painful, because such devotees, when they leave, it leaves a big vacuum in the society. But what to do? Will of the Lord is independent and supremely powerful. There's nothing we can do, right? So, but yeah, devotees are hoping against hope that somehow, maybe Krishna will be able to convince him that you stay back, you'll counteract her curse, remain on earth for some more years. Thoda aur time ruk jao. Like they had somehow convinced him to stay in Hastinapur few more weeks, few more months, like that. So now, since Arjuna has gone to Dwarka to meet with Krishna and the Yadus. I'm sorry. So now that he has gone to meet the Yadus, at this point of time, 7 months have passed. It's not a short period. 7 months is a long period. So after 7 months have passed, Yudhishthir is now wondering that what is going on, and he starts seeing all kinds of inauspicious omens, right? He sees, and there's a detailed description given about what kind of omens he sees in this chapter. So he sees, and he, because he sees these omens, let's just quickly look at those verses. So he says, a few months had passed. Yudhishthir Maharaj then began to observe some inauspicious omens which were fearful in themselves. He saw that the direction of eternal time has changed, and this was fearful. And he starts talking about all different, phenomena that he is observing, which should not happen in his reign, because he is a pious king. He's a Raja Rishi who is absolutely not, performing any sinful activity. All his subjects, all the people of the world who are under his jurisdiction, were all exactly following dharma. Then where is all this sinful, these ominous signs coming from? So he talks about, and he understands the direction of time has changed, meaning, 3 of the cycles are over. Treta is over, Satyuga is over, Treta is over, Dwapara is over, and now Kali Yuga has come. So he recognizes that these are not signs of Dwapar Yuga. These are signs of Kali Yuga. So he starts talking about what he is seeing in his kingdom. And these things that he sees, when we hear them, we will realize this is what we see in our lives. At that time, 5,200 years ago, when Yudhishthir Maharaj was ruling, he observed these signs and he was shocked. Are kya chal raha hai? What is going on? But we will not feel surprised when we hear this, because this is what it is, right? This is what our lives are, unfortunately. So he speaks about disruption in the seasonal regularities, meaning the rains are not coming on time. The summer is too hot. The winter is too cold. he starts seeing this thing. He has seen it 5,200 years back, that the seasons are not behaving properly. सही समय में बारिश होता नहीं है, सब जगह यूनिफॉर्मली बारिश होता नहीं है, right? These are things that we are seeing. We are seeing this on a regular basis. Today, we say global warming, this, that, and other. A few days back, there was this cyclone that hit Mumbai, right? Last week, unfortunately, we could not meet. But we had this cyclone in Mumbai, and in this cyclone, what happened? I mean, it was devastation. Over here, just sitting outside my window, I could see there was a big tree there, and that tree, then on that tree is a very big tree, and there are probably hundreds of birds in that tree, which I keep observing from my window. So from that tree, it was shaking like this, practically, like side to side. I was very afraid maybe it will fall down. So this cyclone, people are saying this is the third cyclone in a row, consecutive years. 2019 there was a cyclone. 2020 we all recall there was a cyclone which went towards Alibag side. Luckily Bombay jada hit nahi hua. This one hit a little bit of Bombay and went upwards towards Gujarat, and maximum destruction in Gujarat. So what people are saying is this is happening because of global warming. In the Arabian Sea, hot air is there. That hot air is leading to excess evaporation of the Arabian Sea water, which is creating a depression. That depression then develops into a cyclonic storm, and that is what comes and hits the coast. So all these irregular things that we are seeing, they're all signs of Kali Yuga, and they are caused because of sinful activity, because of activities that are against the laws of material nature, against the laws of God. The more and more you go against laws of God, the more and more material nature hits back. It's very, very obvious. We don't need to be, some geniuses to understand that when material nature hits back, there's nothing people can do. I remember once His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, many years back, so he had spoken about some, there was one, it's very interesting, they give names to these cyclones, make them personal, I don't know why they do it, but they give names to these cyclones. Many years back in the US, there was a cyclone called Cyclone Katrina. The cyclone Katrina was hitting, and it was a horrible, horrible cyclone, and hundreds and thousands and millions of people were evacuated from where it was supposed to make a landfall, wherever, I think Florida or somewhere, I don't remember exactly. So Maharaj is saying that with all the technological advancement human beings have made, with all the nuclear arsenal and missiles and ships, warships and air fighters and everything that human beings have built for their protection, chemical warfare, so many things you have built. He said, however, when a typhoon or a cyclone hits, all these people have to just run for cover and simply pray. There is nothing else you can do. You have to just pray that Baba, मेरा घर रह जाए, गाड़ी चली गई चलेगा, मेरा सब बाकी सब नेबर्स का घर चला गया चलेगा, मेरा घर बच जाए. Let my house not be just uprooted like a like a bull uproots fresh plants. Elephant uproots trees. That way, with that power, when this wind hits, nothing you can do, just pray. This is happening more and more in Kali Yuga because of sinful activity. We should not be surprised. In one of the in Bhagavatam somewhere I was reading today, I forget where I read this now, but it mentioned that the ocean stays within its boundaries. It is held back by the shore, right? The shore holds back the ocean. It's not the shore that holds back the ocean. It is material. It is the will of the Supreme Lord that the water does not cross. Without the will of the Supreme Lord, material nature will not allow the ocean to cross. But when the will of the Lord is there, that same water, ocean water, which comes as gentle waves, continuously, in 1 minute, there are like maybe 50 waves come, continuously waves keep coming, right? Those waves never cross over. And they come also in a predictable way. The tides are predictable. We know that high tide will come at this time, low tide will come at this time. And the कभी भी low tide के time high tide नहीं आता, and high tide के time low tide नहीं आता. It is predictable. Material nature has given us that much predictability. But when the time is there, the ocean crosses its boundary. And when the ocean crosses its boundary, everything is finished. We have seen videos, of Thailand, of Chennai, when the tsunami hits, everything is finished. You have to understand that there is a higher power. There is a higher power. That higher power than us, at our level, it is material nature. At our level, it is material nature. But at the level of understanding scriptures, it is the supreme personality of God. It's Swaraj will, that mass destruction will happen, because nobody is listening. Nobody is paying attention to the signs that sinful activity बढ़ गया है. Pious, the yajna has not been done. People are indiscriminately killing, living entities, killing each other, killing living entities, as though there is no tomorrow. People eat meat like, matlab, nobody cares. Yeah, some days back, sorry, I'm deviating. But some days back, somebody sent one WhatsApp, about that how we are struggling to breathe. What is this COVID? COVID, what is it? They were saying that COVID is basically where you are not able to breathe. There is oxygen all around you, but you can't breathe. तड़प तड़प के आदमी मर रहा है. He is suffocating to death. Though there is oxygen everywhere, ऑक्सीजन का मास्क भी डाला हुआ है, but फिर भी वो ऑक्सीजन ले नहीं पा, चोक होके मरता, right? But you have to understand that when fish are being removed from the water, उनका पानी में ऑक्सीजन है. They can only consume oxygen in water. आप जब उसको पानी से बाहर निकालते हो, वो तड़प तड़प के मरता है. He cannot take oxygen from the air. That fish dies of suffocation. We have seen, फिल्मों में देखा है ना, कभी हम लोग ने रियलिटी में किसी को सफोकेट होके मरते हुए देखा नहीं है. फिल्मों में देखा होगा ना कि कैसे वो उसको ऐसा पकड़ते हैं, वो पांव ऐसा हिलाते हुए, ये करते हुए, eyes start bulging, and that's how the person dies, because air is not available. If we can't breathe for a few seconds, we go blue, become very difficult. That is the experience that the fish gets when you take it out of the water. For what? For your tongue. Because you want to satisfy your tongue, you don't care. I don't care. वो तो वैसे भी मरने वाला है, किसी और, मैं नहीं खाऊंगा, कोई और खाएगा. कुछ नहीं होता है, खाओ. कुछ नहीं होता, खाओ. कुछ नहीं होता है. This is how material nature gives it back to us. मास कर्मा. एक साथ सबको इकट्ठा करो, सुनामी. एक साथ सबको इकट्ठा करो, प्लेन क्रैश. एक साथ सबको इकट्ठा करो, कोविड, right? So material nature will fight back, will give it back to us if we are, just insensitive completely. People don't even want to acknowledge God exists. I'll give one classic example. Few days back, somebody again sent one video, which is a fake video. It's a fake video about, some of you might have received it, some of you might have seen it. It shows that, in somewhere in the Arctic Circle, Canada and Russia, somewhere they've said that the moon is rising, and it for a few seconds it covers the sun, and then it again sets. Wonders of look at the wonders of God's creation. ऐसा करके एक message started circulating on WhatsApp. Now the video was very beautifully done, but it is probably some cheating. Okay, someone has just made some digitally, किसी ने enhance करके बना दिया. But message अच्छा था कि look at the beautiful creation of the Lord, what beauty God has created, right? So nice message. Few hours later, I got the same, as it usually happens, same message अलग-अलग groups में भी आता है. Few hours later, I got the same message in another group, same video, this time, and same message. Everything was copy pasted, but niche, instead of the power of God or the wonderful creation of God, it said wonderful creation of nature. मतलब people are so envious. God लिखा है किसी ने, जिसने ओरिजिनेट किया उसने God लिखा है, किसी ने वो God का हटा के उसको नेचर बना दिया. मतलब उनको God को एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करना. हमारे लिए नेचर ओनली इज एवरीथिंग, बट इवन उस नेचर का आप सुनने को तैयार नहीं हो. This is Kali Yuga. So you have to understand, right? So these are the signs that our Yudhishthir is seeing. Then what else he sees? He says people have become greedy, angry, and deceitful. Don't we see this in our lives? People are so greedy. They're never satisfied with what they have. No matter how much they have, they want more. They will by hook or by crook, they will somehow accumulate more. They want more. They're never satisfied. They're greedy like anything. बिल्कुल भी उनका कभी पेट भरता नहीं है. Then they get angry very easily. We see this all the time, don't we? That जरा सा किसी का गाड़ी अगर किसी को ऐसा छू के भी निकल गया, लगा भी नहीं उनको, hey, come out, and they're like, अंधा है क्या, दिखता नहीं है क्या, ये वो, and they're like coming straight to beat, मारने के लिए आते. मतलब there is so much pent up frustration and anger in people's hearts. Road rage, we see it all the time. People can't tolerate. They can't tolerate if someone tries to drive slowly in front of them. They can't tolerate. They become angry. मेरे को मेरा ऑफिस पहुंचना है, एक बीच में स्लो क्यों चला रहा है, मेरे को ओवरटेक करने भी नहीं दे रहा है. They'll become angry. All signs of Kali. Deceitful, cheating. There's a cheating propensity. Prabhupada says right from birth people have cheating propensity in Kali Yuga. Right? So people want to cheat all the time. Foul means of livelihood. Today, what are our means of livelihood? Prabhupada says Ugra Karma. What we are doing to earn money today? What kinds of means of livelihood are there? Very painful to see. I mean, I'll not get into the nitty-gritties, but I mean, surely there's a choice. Surely there's a choice doing the kind of things people are doing in today's world. There are better options. There are more sattvic options, but people choose. People choose horrible options for livelihood. Cheating even between friends. These are all the क्या बोलते हैं, chitta of Kali Yuga, which Yudhishthira is speaking about. Cheating between friends. Earlier friends, what is the meaning of friendship? What is the foundation of friendship? Trust. I can trust you with my life. You're my friend. मतलब उस तरह का trust होता है between friends, or at least ऐसा होता था. But friends cheat each other. Then he says misunderstandings between fathers, mothers, and sons. Fathers and mothers don't trust their own children. Children don't trust their own parents. It's a very sad state of affairs, right? We have to understand that all this is happening because we are living in a world that is, we are unfortunately living in the wrong time. हम लोग कलयुग में रह रहे हैं, तो यहाँ का As it is, this world is is labeled by Krishna as Dukkhalayam. This material world is labeled as Dukkhalayam. It is a place of misery. And उसके ऊपर कलियुगा, टाइम भी गलत है, जगह भी गलत है, टाइम भी गलत है. वैसे राइट in the right place at the right time, then things happen properly. We are in the wrong place at the wrong time. We are in the material world, wrong place. We don't belong here. We belong to the spiritual world. We are here, and we are here at the wrong time. Kali Yuga, where things, it's a place of quarrel and hypocrisy. Everywhere misunderstandings, everywhere fights. Brothers fight with each other. We have heard big families getting split down the middle because brothers cannot tolerate each other. While the father is there, the brothers are very united, and they are doing business together. Moment the father dies, immediately the estate gets split down the middle. तू तेरा देख, मैं मेरा देखता हूँ. तू मेरे बिजनेस में नाक मत डाल, तू मेरे बिजनेस में नाक मत, मेरे फैमिली से बात भी मत कर. They can't tolerate each other. Kali Yuga. All characteristics of Kali Yuga. Then Yudhishthir says that even husband and wife, there is strain and quarrel. So this means that in Dwapar Yuga, this was not there. Husband and wife were very loving to each other, very understanding, serving each other. Not just, seeing ki you are my source of enjoyment, you are my source of, enjoyment. No, it was a relationship based on service to each other, service to Guru, service to the Supreme Lord. Whenever two devotees come together to get married in our temple, we have an elaborate, marriage ceremony in our temple. Very nice, done very beautifully. So when two devotees come together to get married, at that time, often if some devotee is there, they speak. Sometimes Radha Swami Maharaj, though he doesn't attend the wedding, but he speaks before the wedding in the temple. So he very often he makes this point. He says that if husband and wife come together solely for enjoyment, which is what happens the whole world. Sari dunya is focused on only enjoyment. That she is my wife, I will enjoy her. He's my husband, I will enjoy her. I will enjoy him. And if that is the only focus, right, then moment that enjoy, when two people come together for enjoyment only, and that enjoyment is not available, or it is not to our expectations, or it reduces in some time, the enjoyment, the incremental enjoyment that you get after the period of time goes down. It's just the nature of the material world. Initially there is some excitement, but after that it's gone. And then the anger starts, the irritation starts. You are like this, you are like that, you are like this, you are like that, you are like this only, you are like that only. Generalizations, fights, strain in relationship. All this is happening. Why? Time and circumstance. Bad place, bad time. We're in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? So Yudhishthir Maharaj is noticing all these things happening in Kali Yuga, as he's surmising, he's guessing that maybe now Kali Yuga has started, meaning what? He's feeling that probably now, he suspects that Krishna has disappeared or is about to disappear. So he's thinking, in the presence of Krishna, how are these things possible? How is all this, inauspicious things happening in the presence of Krishna? So there's one very beautiful verse in 14.9. I'll just read the verse. He says, he says, is he, in the text state, is he going to quit his earthly pastimes as Devarshi Narada had indicated? Has that time already arrived? He's, he's speaking to Bhima, and he says in text 9. Now, when moment he thinks about Krishna, immediately he expresses his love and gratitude. He says, from him only all our kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets has become possible. All this is due to his causeless mercy upon us. So, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada, he says that, see, this is the nature of a pure devotee, that a pure devotee always wants to give credit for Krishna. They always acknowledge the Lord's hand in everything in their lives, whereas other people, they never acknowledge the Lord's benedictions. We don't do it. Everything we have is the Lord's benediction. Everything. Name one thing that you have that is not coming from the Lord. Name one. There is nothing. There is nothing in this material world that we have created. हमने बनाया होगा, बट अपने बनाने के लिए रॉ मटेरियल क्या वापरा है? भगवान का ही दिया हुआ चीज वापरा है. You may be doing brilliant stuff. You have created solar. You have learned how to harness solar energy to create electricity. Brilliant. All glories to the people who did it. But that solar energy is coming from Krishna. The material that is used to create that solar panel is coming from Krishna. The intelligence that you had with which you created that solar panel is also provided by Krishna. What is yours? Nothing. But we are so ungrateful. We are not able to acknowledge also the Lord's contribution. We just want to think that, nah, I don't accept that God exists. Science is everything. Nature is everything, right? Everything happened by chance. So this is the unfortunate situation of people in this world, and that is why Krishna consciousness is such an urgent priority. Why we must not just say कि भाई हम लोग ये जो 30-40 लोग जो आ रहे हैं, ये how many people? Oh, today there are 53 people. Nice. Hare Krishna. Thank you for those who have come today. These 53 people who are there on this call, भाई ये सब हमारे लिए है. This is our, our fortune. Srila Prabhupada has given us. We're receiving, we're hearing, very nice. No, we should be thinking that why only 53 people? Why not 530 people? Why not 5,000 people? How can we bring more people to Krishna consciousness? The whole majority of this world is unfortunate that they don't have this knowledge. They don't have access to the pristine knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, which can bring a transformation in their hearts, which can change their aspirations, which can give them an understanding. What is this? Who is the soul? Who is this Paramatma? Who is the Supreme Lord? What is this material nature? What is this karma? What is this kala? How do they all interact to make my situation? How can I get out of this mess that I am in? How can I get out? I don't want to be here. I don't belong to this material world. I have to get out. ऐसा कोई सोचता भी नहीं है. क्यों नहीं सोचता? क्योंकि हम लोग ने उनको बताया नहीं है. It is our service to invite people to the process of Krishna consciousness. What we have received, we should give to others. Don't be selfish. Don't be a miser. If you are receiving anything wonderful, we should share it with the world. So anyway, so like this, he is acknowledging Krishna's benedictions. He says, like for example, wives. Arjuna won Draupadi by the intervention of Krishna. Their lives were saved so many times by, they were saved from the mouth of death so many times, from misfortune. They were saved by Krishna. Progeny, who is the only living descendant of the Pandavas today? Parikshit. And how did Parikshit happen? Parikshit, his life was saved by Krishna. Then how did who was his father? His father was Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu, his parents were Arjuna and Subhadra. The marriage of Arjuna and Subhadra was arranged by Krishna only. Otherwise, Subhadra was going to be married to Duryodhan's Duryodhan's son or Duryodhan, I don't recall. But I think Duryodhan, yeah. Balram, Lord Balram wanted to marry, Lord Balram was going to marry Subhadra to Duryodhan. But Krishna intervened and he got Subhadra to kidnap Arjun. Because if Arjun kidnapped Subhadra, then the Yadus would have to fight with him. But Subhadra kidnapped him. So everything is arranged by Krishna. So Yudhishthir is remembering that how merciful Krishna is. Everything in our life, he is able to see the hand of Krishna in everything. Once I had given a lecture on this, the hand of Krishna, seeing the hand of Krishna in everything in our lives. Right? We should be able to recognize that everything we have, good or bad, is happening by Krishna's intervention. Yudhishthir is able to see this. Then in the 14.10, Prabhupada, very powerful purport. I'll just read the purport for everyone's pleasure. Prabhupada is saying, in the translation it is said, just see, O man with the tiger strength, how many miseries due to celestial influences, earthly reactions and bodily pains, all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in the near future by deluding our intelligence. And the purport Prabhupada says, by the celestial influence of the stars, there are many calamities like excessive heat, cold, rains or no rains, and the after effects are famine, disease, and epidemic. The aggregate result is the agony of the body and the mind. Isn't this what we are going through right now? Look at the words Prabhupada has chosen. Agony of the body and the mind. Those who are going through the epidemic are facing agony of body. It's a horrible disease, right? I mean, all kinds of symptoms which we have never heard of before are coming. One loses taste, smell and taste goes away. Tremendous weakness, inability to breathe. What kind of symptoms? Right? Misery of the body. And for those, and misery of the mind also, because they are isolated, they can't even meet anybody. वहां पे हॉस्पिटल वार्ड में पड़े हुए हैं, दे आर सीइंग पीपल डाइंग ऑन बोथ साइड्स, दे वेटिंग मेरा कब चांस आएगा, या तो ऐसे निकलने का या तो मरने का, क्या हो रहा है समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Misery of body and misery of mind, agony of body and mind. And even for those who don't have it, they are also going through agony of mind. Today more and more devotees are also recognizing that that there's a lot of psychological stress that is being created by this pandemic for the adults, for the children, everyone. Agony of the mind, right? Prabhupada is saying, man-made material science cannot do anything to counteract these threefold miseries, right? Adi bhautik, adi daivik, adi adhyatmik klesh cannot do anything to counteract. They are all punishments from the superior energy of Maya under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, our constant touch with the Lord by devotional service can give us relief without our being discharged in the disturbed in the discharge of our human duties. The asuras, however, who do not believe in the existence of God, make their own plans to counteract all these threefold miseries, and so they meet with failures every time. The Bhagavad Gita 7.14 clearly states, right, in the Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Daiviyesha gunamayi mama maya durataya mameva hi prapadyante maya metam tarante. The Bhagavad Gita clearly states that the reaction of material energy is never to be conquered because of the binding effects of the three modes. They can simply be overcome by one who surrenders fully in devotion under the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a powerful purport Srila Prabhupada gives here, hard hitting, that Baba tum samjho, that you cannot counteract this. The celestial influence of the stars creates circumstances you cannot counteract. You are better off surrendering to the situation, surrendering, seeing this as the hand of God, and saying, my Lord, if this is your desire, I surrender. I take shelter of your holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. I take shelter of Bhagavatam. I take shelter of the deities. I take shelter of the association of Vaishnavas. I take shelter of Dham. I take shelter of you, Krishna. rather than trying to desperately either do what is needful. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग बोलते बाबा हम ही तो हाथ ऊपर करके I will chant Hare Krishna. No, do the needful, take medicines, go to doctor, do everything to keep body and soul together. But understand, if material nature is not cooperating, there is not much you can do. Doctors also at some point बोलते अभी इनको दुआओं की नहीं, दवाओं की नहीं, दुआओं की जरूरत है. Now just start praying. If he has to survive, very good, pray for him. If he is going to die, then also pray for him or her, right? So sometimes you have to understand this is too much. There's nothing we can do, right? Then in the verse 11 to 20, he talks about various omens, bad omens that he's seeing. So I'm not getting into details of that. Many things, suffice it to say, he talks about multiple things like 1 minute, just touch upon it, okay, in a minute. He talks about bad omens he sees in his body. He sees animals, jackals are crying, dogs are barking at me. Dogs are barking at me, right? So maybe at that time, dogs did not just come up to somebody and bark, but today we see it all the time. Someone is just going on a cycle or a motorcycle, and dogs come suddenly out of nowhere, and and आदमी वो डर के गिर जाता है, and कभी-कभी मर भी जाता है, right? You have to understand. Birds, then Panchabhuta, the sky, the wind, the clouds, the sun, everything is, the rivers are perturbed. Butter no longer ignites fire. Cattle, calves are not sucking milk of the cows. Deities seem to be crying in the temple. Deities don't look happy. Sometimes we see this in Kali Yuga also. If you go to a temple, we can always make out a temple which is well preserved, which is where the deities are well served. You go to certain temples and you look at the deities, you don't feel those deities are happy. They may be opulent deities, but deities खुश नहीं लगते. But you go to some temples, छोटा सा मंदिर है, गरीब सा पुजारी है, लेकिन those deities look very opulent. They look very happy. Why? Because the pujari is serving very nicely. The pujaris are serving nicely. The deities look very beautiful. You see, ISKCON, any temple across the world, if you go, there are some temples like Juhu, like Gopinath, like so many others which look very opulent. And there are some which are not so opulent. They're simple temples started by few devotees. They don't have that many resources yet. But the deities always look gorgeous. Prabhupada taught us that deities should always look happy. They should be served impeccably. Every day 6 offerings should happen, 6 aartis should happen. You should wake up the deities like this. You should make them rest like this. Everything has been perfectly laid out by Prabhupada. So therefore, deities are happy. So like this, various omens he speaks, verse 11 to 20. So Yudhishthir then, while he's saying all this, at that time Arjun appears. Arjun comes back while he's talking to Bhima and saying all this. At that time, Arjun comes back. When he sees Arjuna, his suspicions are further supplemented. He sees Arjuna with tears glistening on his cheeks. He comes and pays obeisances to Maharaj Yudhishthir, and he's looking so dejected. He's looking so unhappy at the, because now he is not telling anything. He's like, hota hai na, sometimes when somebody is crying because they have lost a near and dear one, उनके मुंह से कोई शब्द ही नहीं निकलते. They are not able to talk because there's a ball. वो होता है ना, when tears are in the throat अटका हुआ रहता है, तब आवाज ही नहीं निकलता है. They're not able to talk. He's not talking. So Yudhishthir then in verse 25 to 33, he starts asking Arjuna. He looks at Arjuna and he asks a lot of indirect queries because he has seen all these evil omens which indicate Kali Yuga has come in, and Kali Yuga will not come in if Krishna is still there. So he's already kind of sure that कुछ हुआ है. Narad Muni भी बोल के गए थे, कुछ तो हुआ है, something has happened. And then he sees Arjun. That should be confirmation. But no, he doesn't directly ask him, has the, and also there is a curse we discussed 36 years back. Gandhari has cursed that Krishna will leave in a inauspicious way. So he is hoping against hope. He doesn't ask about Krishna. He starts asking from verse 25 to 33. He makes various inquiries about the Yadus. So he asks about all the different Yadus. He talks about Akrura. He talks about Devaki and Vasudev. He talks about so many people. He talks about Pradyumna, Aniruddha, various the sons, grandsons, great grandsons of Krishna. How are they doing? How is this one doing? How is that one doing? He asks various questions like that, indirect queries. And then from verse 34 to 38, he directly inquires and glorifies Krishna. Now he comes to Krishna. So let's just read these verses quickly. Verse 34 to 38. He says, after asking about all the Yadus, right? He says, is Lord Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the senses, and the Brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees? Is he enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri, surrounded by his friends? This is a very beautiful verse, text 34. We'll just read the verse. He says, Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsala Kachit Pures Dharmayam Sukham Aste Suridvrataha. Govinda, Bhagavan, he calls him Bhagavan, Govindo, Brahmanyo, Bhaktavatsala. So he is glorifying Krishna over here, right? Very beautifully. That what are the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He is Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he is Govindo. Govinda means giver of pleasure to the senses and to the cows. Bhakta Vatsala, one who is always worried about the welfare of his devotees, right? So in this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, long purport, so I'm not going to details, but he says that why is Yudhishthir not, he's asked about the welfare of everybody. See, the Yadus are millions in number. It is described in the previous purports of Srila Prabhupada. Krishna had just Krishna. There are many Yadus, but amongst them he is Yaduvara, he is Yadunath, he is the supreme, supreme authority of the Yadus. So he had 16,108 wives. From each of these wives, he had 10 sons. That's 1,61,000 whatever, right? That many sons, okay? And each of those sons also had 10 sons, right, with their wives. And you can imagine the size of the very huge family. And Prabhupada also makes a point. Don't try to fit this into your intelligence. Don't try to think that कैसे possible है यार? How is this even possible? इतने लोग को accommodation कहाँ से मिला? इतने लोग रहते किधर? He is the Supreme Lord. He can do anything. He can fit a massive banyan tree which spreads sometimes over miles into one small seed. The DNA for creation of that, the DNA, the software, the whole blueprint of that massive banyan tree is contained in one small seed. Lord can do anything. Okay, and especially for his devotees, Yadus are all his devotees. To accommodate them, he can do anything. He created Dwarka overnight. Overnight, all the, so the Mathura, all the Yadus were living in Mathura, right, earlier. But so many times they were attacked by Jarasandha. So finally Krishna decided, chalo yaar, bas ho gaya. Let's move everyone to Dwarka. Overnight he created Dwarka. And in the night when the Yadus slept, they were in Mathura. And in the morning when they got up, everything was same. Clothes was same. But they were in their individual palaces in Dwarka. Mathura to Dwarka. Matlab, imagine what kind of a, the Lord can do anything, right? So don't be bewildered. So here, Prabhupada makes a very valid point. He's saying the Supreme Lord is is amazing. And why is Yudhishthir not asking about the Lord? He's asking about the welfare of all these millions of Yadus. इतने सारों का नाम ले लेके he is mentioning. But why he doesn't ask about Krishna's welfare? He says, because the Lord is all perfect in himself, there could not be any question about the Lord's welfare. And therefore, Maharaj Yudhishthir refrained from asking this question. Right? He says that Krishna is Supreme Lord. He is Bhakta Vatsala, who's worried about welfare about everybody. So why? And he is all perfect. There is no question of his welfare. Today on our HPCL group, of course, people, in our group, innocently they put messages because they see something about Krishna there, and they know this is a Krishna conscious group, so they put these messages on the group. Today somebody sent a message about Krishna, so I started, reading it very carefully. I was reading it, and as I read it, initially it seemed good because they were talking about historical events. So like, oh, Krishna, the historical person, and he's not some figment of somebody's imagination. So I was like appreciating. Acha likha hai. And I started reading, and as I started reading and going down, somewhere I started seeing problem in it. Right? So because this person is saying Krishna had a lot of difficulties in his life. बहुत तकलीफें उनको झेलनी पड़ी, बहुत कठिनाइयों का उनको सामना करना पड़ा, lot of problems, right? So what we did by the end of the message, it says that he had so many difficulties, but still he was able to rise above it. So it's like a motivational message. It is not acknowledging that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes, including the intelligence with which you wrote this message. Right? He does not need your, Krishna does not need your historical, analysis to prove that he existed, to prove that he's a great person. Doesn't need. He is above all welfare. Therefore, Prabhupada says, he's all perfect in himself. Then from verse 39 to 43, this is where it gets painful. Verse 39 to 43, he starts inquiring about Arjuna's activities and his personal welfare. Right now, he has asked about, the Yadu's welfare. He has glorified Krishna. He glorifies Lord Balram. He glorifies. So Prabhupada makes a point that in these series of verses, when he is referring to the other Yadus, he just says Yadus. He mentions them by name: Surasena, Vasudev, Devaki, Ugrasen, Akrura, and so on. But when he speaks about Balram, he says Bhagavan. When he speaks about Pradyumna, he uses the word Bhagavan. When he speaks about Aniruddha, who is the grandson of Lord Krishna, he uses the word Bhagavan. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the part, as many times before we have explained, that there are four, from Krishna, the first expansion is Lord Balaram. From Balaram comes the Chaturvyuha. Actually, from Balaram comes Sankarshan. From Sankarshan comes the first Chaturvyuha. That Chaturvyuha is Vasudev, Aniruddha, Sankarshana, and Pradyumna. So these are the four principal, expansions coming from the Supreme Lord. So the Pradyumna, who is the son of Krishna in Krishna Leela, is actually that expansion from the spiritual world, that Pradyumna. Similarly, the grandson of Krishna, the son of Pradyumna, Aniruddha, he is also from that Chaturvyuha. Therefore, the word Bhagwan is used. Anyway, so then in verse 39 to 43, he inquires about Arjuna's activities and personal welfare. So let's just quickly take a look at what Yudhishthir is asking there. And there, he says, my dear brother Arjuna, please tell me whether your health is all right. You appear to lost your bodily luster. Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you because of a long stay at Dwarka? Has someone addressed you with unfriendly words or threatened you? Could you not give charity to one who asked? Or could you not keep your promise to someone? You are always the protector of deserving living beings such as brahmanas, cows, children, women, and the diseased. Could you not give them protection when they approached you for shelter? Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? Or have you not properly treated a deserving woman? Or have you been defeated on the way by someone who is inferior or equal to you? Have you not taken care of old men and boys who deserve to dine with you? Have you left them and taken your meals alone? Have you committed some unpardonable mistake which is considered to be abominable? So he asked so many questions to Arjuna. Sorry. So in these questions, actually we can see, so over here it is described that these are the 10 causes of dejection. These questions that Yudhishthira is asking to Arjuna are 10 causes for dejection. What are that? One is your health organ. So if someone's health is not good, they become dejected. Second, did you disrespect? Did someone disrespect you, or did someone neglect you? Right? See how sensitively words Yudhishthira is using to talk to Arjuna. That किसी ने आपको disrespect किया क्या? That is why you're looking unhappy. That's why you're looking dejected. Or did someone neglect you? If someone neglects us, also we feel dejected, feel unhappy. यार देखा भी नहीं मेरे को, मेरे से बात भी नहीं किया. I was also there. मैं भी खड़ा था बाजू में, मेरे को acknowledge नहीं किया. So sometimes, my apologies. Sometimes on this call which we have, at the end, the last few people who are remaining, I talk to one or two people, and maybe the others feel bad about it. My apologies for that. It is not my intention to hurt someone or neglect anybody. It just kind of happens that way. If someone does feel neglected or unhappy, my sincere apologies at your lotus feet. So this is what Yudhishthira is saying. Neglect. Has someone addressed you unfriendly, or someone threatened you? Sometimes someone threatens us also, we become unhappy because we are feeling afraid कि अरे क्या होगा, सच्ची में करेगा तो क्या होगा. Then could you not give charity to someone who asks? Now see, it's interesting. These are all things about Kshatriyas, right? For Kshatriyas, these things are a big deal, right? That disrespect, neglect, or threats, or not being able to give charity. This is a very important thing for Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas give charity. They don't hold wealth. The leaders of society should not be holding wealth. They should be giving away. Even we as Grihastha should not hold wealth. We should be spending money on charity. We should be spending money on increasing the number of devotees in this world. We should be donating to good causes. We should be doing it. If you're just holding money, my mother used to say, वो पैसा कुस्ता है, कुस्ता हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं उसको, सड़ रहा है वो पैसा. That money is just gathering fungus because it's not being utilized for the right. Lakshmi is to be used in the service of Narayan. Money is called Lakshmi, right? Lakshmi is always to be used in the service of Narayan. How do we do it? By engaging in activities of Krishna consciousness, by engaging our family in Krishna consciousness, by making our house a temple, by inviting people to our home. We can't do it now, but hopefully when the lockdown goes, dadati prati granati guhyam akhyati prachati bhungte bhojete cheva. Rupa Goswami explains in the Nectar of Instruction that what are the 6 exchanges of love between devotees. Right? We can do these things. That is part of charity, giving gifts, inviting devotees for prasad, giving them prasad. This is how we can spend our Lakshmi. We can donate to the temple. We can donate to good causes like that. So you couldn't give charity. You couldn't keep your promise. Someone can't keep a promise, they become dejected. Who becomes dejected if you can't keep a promise? People of high character. People don't have character. They make promises only to break them. बोलते हैं ना, तो कसमें सिर्फ तोड़ने के लिए बनाई जाती हैं, right? But no, that is Kali Yuga. But at that time, Yudhishthira is asking Arjun, did you make a promise which you were not able to keep? That's why you're feeling unhappy. It's a big deal. Kshatriya would say, like, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Aaye, Pran Jaye par Vachan Na Jaye. I don't mind giving up my life, but if I promise something, I have to fulfill. Right? So he's asking like this. Could you not give protection to brahmanas, children, cows, women, diseased? Prabhupada says these 5 categories have to always be protected. Brahmanas. Those who are brahmanas, they have to be protected. They are the head of society. अगर ब्राह्मणा को protection नहीं, if a brahmana is dependent on others. Brahmana is supposed to be dependent on others for his sustenance. But if a Brahmana is not supported, a true Brahmana is not supported by the society, what happens? Then he starts acting like a Shudra. He starts acting like a Kshatriya, starts acting like a Vaishya to sustain his family, because he also has a family, he has to sustain. So he starts cheating, he starts, exploiting. And then वो Brahman रहता ही नहीं, it doesn't remain a Brahman. Brahmanas have to be protected. Then children have to always be protected. Then cows have to always be protected, because cows give us milk. Cows are very dear to Krishna, they always be protected. Women have to always be protected. Srila Prabhupada says, in various places, a woman has to always be protected. First, to be protected by the father, then to be protected by the husband, then to be protected by the sons after the husband passes away. Woman has to always be protected. Then, those who are diseased. Were you not able to protect those who are diseased? See, like today, why we feel so much dejection? Why we feel so unhappy? Because our near and dear ones, they are getting hospitalized and हम लोग कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे. Some are not able to get hospitalization. That's why we are unhappy. Some we are getting hospitalized, but we can't do anything after that. वो मतलब डॉक्टर के मुंह में चला गया, खत्म. उसके बाद वो डॉक्टर या तो उसको बाहर थूकेगा या तो मर जाएगा. कुछ नहीं, मतलब nothing we can do. We cannot even go and see the patient. Right? So we feel helpless in such situations. So we have to put our good faith in the doctors. Doctors are doing a good job. They're trying their best. But yeah, hospitals are not like that. Doctors may be like that. Hospitals are looking at money. Very painful, and there's nothing you can do. That's not the cause for dejection. Then, have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? So for people of high character, if you come in contact with a woman, or for a woman to come in contact with a man of low character, they become unhappy because of that. They don't feel happy. Have you improperly treated a deserving woman? Have you been defeated on the way? So for Kshatriyas, Prabhupada makes a point in the purport that for Kshatriyas to be defeated, it's not a bad thing. Because if they are fought hard, but they are fought against someone who is better than them, and then they are defeated, they don't mind. Like Prabhupada makes a point that in the in the battle of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna was defeated by Bhishma, that's when Krishna intervened, right? Remember, we discussed few weeks back that Krishna lifted that chariot wheel and attacked Bhishma. Why? Because Bhishma had defeated Arjuna. It was over. It was coming to an end. It was so tough. So he says, but if you're defeated by someone who is lesser than you, for Kshatriya, that is worse than death. It's too painful. Then he says, have you committed some unpardonable mistake, which is considered abominable? So if you have committed a big mistake also, not acceptable. For Kshatriyas cannot make an unpardonable, abominable mistake. Because you are a leader of society. If leaders of society start committing abominable mistakes, right? That is not nice. You cannot do that. Prabhupada says it is shameful for the Kshatriya or for the state to commit these kind of mistakes. Shameful, So finally, he asked directly about Lord Krishna's disappearance. Finally, in verse 44, last verse of this chapter, he finally asked. So though it was fairly, so let's just read that verse, text 44. Or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? Oh, my brother Arjuna, I can think of no other reason for your becoming dejected. So if you see the whole chapter, Yudhishthira has been giving reason after reason, right? कि क्या हो रहा है, ये खराब हो रहा है, वो खराब हो रहा है, ये ill omen, वो ill omen. So many bad things are there. Kali Yuga seems to be taking precedence. Arjuna, you are looking dejected. Is it because of this? Is it because of that? So many things he said. Though it was predicted and it was fairly obvious He beats around the bush again and again and again, hoping against hope that it is due to some other reason. It is not the passing of Krishna. So for a devotee, this is the most painful experience. The kind of closeness that we have with Vaishnavas, with the devotees, practically on the ground, the kind of closeness, close-knit relationship that Vaishnavas build with each other. We come to the temple, we come to satsang, meet each other every week. आपके कौन से फ्रेंड से आप वीकली मिलते हो? आपके कौन से रिलेटिव के साथ आप वीकली मिलते हो? Which neighbor do you meet every day, every week like this? Nobody. We become so close to the Vaishnavas, we don't enjoy that closeness with anyone, not with our relatives, not with our friends, not with our neighbors, nobody. Because this relationship between Vaishnavas is a relationship that is based not on selfishness. It's not a relationship based on selfishness. It is based on service and love. Service and love, keeping Krishna in the center. I was talking about marriage. I forgot to mention that husband and wife in Krishna consciousness, Maharaj used to say that they should keep Krishna in the center. Do your duty, do the needful as husband and wife, produce children, make assets, do everything. Keep Krishna in the center. So devotees form relationships, deep, long-lasting relationships based on service to Guru and Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center. And then when we lose such devotees, it's very painful. We lost our Bhera Prabhu. I still remember his smiling face, such a wonderful, transcendental, smiling face he had. Let me see one moment. I'll just pull up his picture here. 1 second. Right, so that is our Behra Prabhu. So he passed away, just a few, I think yesterday, day before yesterday, and many such unfortunate news we are getting now, more and more, as we are getting along. Few days back, as I said, His Grace Mahaprabhu Prabhu passed away. I cannot describe the closeness that I had with this person, Mahaprabhu Prabhu. I mean, my fledgling, my baby years, so to say, 97, when I came to Krishna consciousness, 1997, I started attending Khar program. We used to stay in Khar at that time. So I used to attend this Khar program at Mahaprabhu Prabhu's place, where His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu used to come for Bhagavad Gita lectures. So every Friday, we used to go to Mahaprabhu Prabhu's place. And the kind of love that we have received from, he used to be, his program started in 1979. Like I said, many were not born at that time, many of us. 1979, this program started. It was the only program, other than Juhu Temple, it was the only program in Mumbai. So all the sannyasis in ISKCON used to come to his house. He has served so many sannyasis. As a lawyer, he has served ISKCON. He came to ISKCON 1978, immediately he got service as a lawyer because ISKCON was facing legal cases. He fought like a lion. He was, a very powerful personality, very regal, like a king, very, very fantastic personality this person had. And he would, he fought legal cases and he won. He defeated, like a lion, he would fight these cases. And he defeated. And in parallel, he had a garage in his house in Khar. That garage was converted into a temple, and beautiful deities of Shishi Radha, Vrindavan, Natwar were installed there, and they have been served there for the last 40 years. Those beautiful deities, even till date, they're being served very beautifully. And there the program started. I attended that program, and Mahaprabhu Prabhu was such a loving person. He would, anyone came, he would always be looking at the door, at the gate. Or कौन आया, and you feel so happy. You saw more people coming. You feel so happy. His happiness was in seeing people becoming devotees. He would encourage us with so much love. आप आए, very nice. You must come. आपको आना ही है. हर हफ्ते आओ आप. You come. Once I remember, I used to work in Thane Bilapur Road in those days, very far away. And I came to this program. I used to come every week because I used to record Radha Gopinath Prabhu's Bhagavad Gita lectures. I used to record on a cassette. So therefore, I should never miss, ever. But once, and if I was missing, I would tell my wife that you record today. So, but one day I got late, I got really late, and in office, and I left late, and then I called up Mahaprabhu Prabhu's place, and I called up and I said, Prabhuji, मेरे को अभी really बहुत late हो गया है, and it is, I don't think I'll reach before 9 o'clock, and अभी lecture तो खत्म हो गया, कीर्तन भी खत्म हो गया, I'll be able to only come for prasad. He said, are you joking? Just come. प्रसाद के लिए आए हो तो ऐसे बोल रहे हो जैसे कि कुछ मिस किया. Prasad is also so important. You must come. Please come. So such a loving person who has served ISKCON till his last breath, practically. I mean, there are so many things, so many memories, but I don't want to go into detail here. But suffice it to say, we have lost one of the most pillars of our congregation, of ISKCON, not just our congregation, not just Radha Gopinath congregation, of ISKCON. A pillar has been lost. Behera Prabhu, he was one of the pillars of our congregation. Such a wonderful devotee, always enthusiastic. Whenever he would attend, while he was in Mumbai, he would always attend our lecture. He would ask questions sometimes. Kirtan, he would enthusiastically participate. During our Janmashtami, he would dance. He would make prasad. So many times he would sponsor prasad. And when he sponsored, he would make the prasad. He would make khichdi, and he would make a special khichdi with corn inside it. Such a wonderful smile. I still remember the smile on his face, shine in his eyes and smile in his face. We are losing these devotees. Over the last 6 months, I have personally lost so many near and dear ones. This year has been real. 2020 was bad. If that was bad, 2021 is worse. So many near and dear ones dying. We should learn from this. One, we should learn we could be next. We need to become more serious about our Krishna consciousness. And second, we should pray for everybody. Try to bring more people into Krishna consciousness. Try to inspire others to take shelter of Krishna. You take shelter and inspire others to take shelter. That is the perfection of our life. And that is what we should all aspire for. So right now, I'll end here. No time, we're already over time, so I'll not take any questions or comments. I thank you very much for your kind patience, and thank you for listening to my words. I'm just repeating the words of Srila Prabhupada. My apologies if I've offended anybody in my talk today. I used a few strong words. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So as Remuna Prabhu said in the start, let us all chant one round together for Behera Prabhu, for Mahaprabhu Prabhu, in memory of them, and for the devotees who are afflicted with COVID, who are struggling. Our Algar Swami Prabhu, he has recovered from COVID, but now he's got some other infection. So let us all pray for these wonderful devotees by chanting one round together. Let's all take our bead bags and let us all chant together. Just a moment.
Also, Shailendra Prabhu's father.
Shailendra Prabhu's father also, yeah. So, Mataji, I spoke to Mataji yesterday at the start. Just one second.
So, if devotees wanted, they can open the videos also, if that can be more, if they want. So we can start.
No, I would actually humbly request that everyone actually start their videos. Let's all look at each other. Let us unmute, everyone unmute yourself, and let us all chant together the reverberation of the holy name of all 46 of us. If all chant, enthusiastically, loudly together, it will
keep a gallery view.
Huh? Yeah, gallery view. Yeah. You can start your gallery. Go to the top right of your screen. There will be a view button there. Click on that. Click on gallery view so you can see everything. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashanti Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare, Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare